Hello and welcome to Lard TV, where I am joined today by Dave Brown, author of Pickett's Charge and General Dame, published by our sister company WWII Press, and soon to be published O Group, a set of World War II rules for battalion levels and upwards. And that's what we're here to play today, and give you an idea of exactly how the rules work and what it's all about. We're standing at extreme ends of this camera because obviously we're attempting to social distance because of the current situation, but we'll try and keep in camera as much as possible. Now, the game we're going to play today, Operation Charnwood. It's an Anglo-Canadian offensive that took place in July 1944, the 8th to the 9th of July, as part of the Battle for Caen. In fact, the final stages of the Battle for Caen. Caen obviously was a D-Day objective which didn't fall, and Charnwood was the last of many operations launched in order to attempt to seize the city, but also in an attempt to stop the Germans transferring troops to the American sector where the Allies were attempting to make their main attack. Operation Charnwood began at dawn on the 8th of July with 3 infantry divisions attacking German positions to the north of the city, and that was behind a creeping barrage. They were supported by 3 armoured brigades and up against 12 SS Panzer Division, Hitlerjugend, and the remains of 16th Luftwaffe Field Division. By this point, both those formations pretty much hanging in rags, but still not giving way. The British and Canadians advanced on a broad front all the way around to the north, northeast, northwest of the city, behind the creeping barrage, and by the end of that day they had taken the northern outskirts of Caen. On the very next day, Carpiquet Airport fell to the Canadians, and on day 2 the British and Canadian forces had linked up on their objectives along the Orne River, at which point the operation came to an end. So a very successful operation at last for the Allies in this sector. Now, the action we're going to play today is one battalion, the 6th North Staffordshire Regiment, and they are part of the 176th Infantry Brigade. The attack we've got here is very much part of that attack directly to the north of Caen, with attack on German positions in the hamlet of La Bijude and the town or village of Éperon to the rear. And again, they're up against remnants of 12 Panzer Grenadier Regiment 25. So no walkover at all. Now, the forces that I've got, I'm going to be attacking from the Chateau de Lens, which was captured a day or 2 previously in a small operation which was designed to provide a jump-off point for this operation. So what we've got on the table is, this is in the setup stage, we've got a battalion headquarters, which actually isn't necessarily on the table, but it's just a visual representation. Yeah. And it also includes a little dice here, David. You've got yours on the table down at your end. Yes. Tell me, what do these do? What do they indicate?
The dice represent HQ orders that are available to the battalion. We use orders each turn to basically enable our units to fire, rally, etc., bring on reserves. But the HQ has a reserve pool of orders, which it can use to assist the companies to go about their actions, or it can hold it in reserve and use it to assist in winning the initiative each turn. So basically, if you hold them in reserve, the battalion HQ is more switched on and is concerned with the maintenance of the initiative on the battlefield. So players have a choice each turn. They can spend those HQ orders in order to get their infantry, their tanks and their guns into action, or you can hold them as a reserve and hopefully gain the initiative in the following turn.
So if I were fat and my name was Nicholas, I'd be talking about OODA loops at this point in time, wouldn't I? I might be, if not cream cakes. Yeah. But right, okay, so the other thing that I've got on the table, and that you've got on the table, is I've got 2 of my company headquarters. Here they are, that's one there, folks. Now, my deployment area from the Chateau de Lens, what I've done is I bought an A and B company. I've got 3 companies. Let's talk us through the forces that we've got, David.
So we've got 2 battalions opposing each other in this engagement. The British have 1 battalion that consists of 3 companies, plus armoured support, and plus a limited number of regimental assets, such as Vickers, Pierce, etc.
So I've got a whole squadron of armour, I believe.
You have 3 troops, yes, of Shermans and Fireflies, so a fairly potent armoured detachment to this battalion. So what do the Germans have? They're fielding a battalion which consists of 2 companies from the 12th SS and 1 Jaeger company. They're combined together for the purposes of this game. Their supports include 2 MMG sections, which would be MG42s, and 2 Panzerschreck sections, which could be obviously useful against the Allied armour. In addition, they have anti-tank platoon of a Pak 40, which is one of the units that were placed in ambush, and I have 1 Stug section to assist. The only other thing that we have is the battalion HQ, similar to Richard's, is the HQ itself. We have the battalion mortars and we have a FOO. They're all regular except for the Jaeger company, who are classed as second line, who are not quite as good. And that's it for the German forces.
But the thing I'm really worried about at this point in time is the fact that La Bijou is still in German hands, and the main access point for my armour is going to be that main road.
Down the road.
So for me, the first phase of my operation is going to be to try and take La Bijou. So I'm going to hold my armour back as a reserve, and I'm only actually going to deploy 2 companies onto the table. And what I've done as part of the initial setup phase is I've just placed 2 of my 2 company headquarters on the table, which indicates their areas of responsibility.
Yes, their sectors,
their operational sectors. So that's nice and clear, no bookkeeping or anything like that, but we've already got clearly defined areas that they're assigned to. You place 2 on the table?
Yeah, I've got 2. I've got 1 company back here holding Epron, the village of Epron, and then I've got 2 company, which is a slightly reduced company, holding the forward village of Le Bijou, and hopefully they'll blunt the initial British attack. Or likewise, Richard's holding not only his armour in reserve, but his 3rd company. I'm holding in reserve my 3rd company, and the minimal supports that I have are also in reserve.
Okay, right. So we're all set up. How do we start the game, David?
Okay, so we start the game with a pre-game deployment phase. It does 2 things. It provides us with an overview of how well the battalion is deployed based on a set of dice rolls, and it also incorporates the effect of the opening barrage.
Right.
So I'll hand over to you. You might as well go first so we can go through this, and I'll explain what the dice. So we roll 9 dice.
9 d6. Oh, it's all standard d6 in the game.
All standard
is
d6.
Thank God for that. Right, let's roll the dice and see what we get. Right, okay. So I get 2 6s. I get a 1.
Oh yeah.
I get
good.
a 5.
Yeah.
A 4, a 4.
Loads.
Oh, 3 4s, a 3 and a 2.
Okay, so the important scores that we need to look at are 1s.
Yeah.
Any 1s that you roll represent the effect of the opening barrage. They are casualties on me.
Right.
So by rolling 1-1, that removes 1 platoon from my battalion.
Right.
So it's been reasonably effective. And what I will do is I'll remove 1 platoon from my 3rd company that's in reserve.
Right. So you get a choice of where to take.
Yes,
that
I can take that.
Okay. Yeah.
The more 1s you roll, the more impact that has on my battalion.
Yeah.
But the first one is an initial loss of 1 platoon, which is a significant one.
Yeah.
Then the next important scores to denote are 5s and 6s.
Right. I've got 3 of those.
Oh, loads! That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So they represent units that you can put directly onto the table behind your start line in the deployment phase.
Right.
So you've got 3. That can be 3 sections or 3 platoons,
right,
whatever you want, and they can belong to any companies you see fit.
Okay. So I've got a pretty good idea of what I want to do.
Okay.
What are the other dice for?
And then all the remaining scores, 2, 3, 4, represent combat patrols.
Right. Now, you mentioned combat patrols to me earlier, and you gave me this selection of tokens, which at the time I was hoping were biscuits or sweeties, but I was sadly disappointed to discover that they were combat patrol markers. So how do I use these, Dave?
Okay, well, combat patrol markers are basically, it's a war games mechanism to represent 3 things in the war game. First of all, they represent platoon recce and scout teams
Right.
that are pushing forward
Yeah.
into the battle to enable reserves to deploy onto their position.
Right.
So if you could imagine it, you're a platoon commander, you're sending forward a recce team to take up a forward position,
Yeah.
and that allows your commanders to then deploy troops onto those positions.
Right. Okay.
Secondly, is that obviously both sides have combat patrols in the game, and these combat patrols can move. So one of the things you can do is you can shut down the opponent's combat patrols.
Right. Okay.
Opposing combat patrols can't come within 8 inches of each other in 15 mil.
Yeah.
So if you see the enemy is probing forward, you can send forward your own scouts or own recon teams to prevent any further infiltration of that sector. And then finally, of course, they represent the fog of war. So when combat patrols are down, the opposing player doesn't know what could deploy onto those units, or maybe they're just not being used at all. Maybe it's just there to represent confusion.
So it's an opportunity to outfox your opponent and suggest that you're threatening in one area when in fact your plans are something quite different.
Correct.
Okay, so I've got 5 of them.
Yep.
And where do I put them? Do I push them forward now, or this is
in the deployment? This is the pre-game deployment phase, so everything starts behind your start line, appropriately enough.
Okay, yeah.
And you can assign a certain number. The maximum a company can have is 3 at any one time.
Well, I'm going to put 3 on this company here.
Yep.
So I can just put them out like that, pretty close. And I'm going to put 2 on this company over here.
Okay.
So I'm going to pop them out. But I can also deploy 3 units,
Yeah.
So I'm going to start off by, and they again start on my start line.
Yeah.
There's a logic to that.
Start line. Yes.
Right.
There's a heat there.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 platoons. I'm going to have a company are going to have 2 platoons on the table.
Yep.
1 in the wheat field.
Yeah.
And 1 over by this road junction. And I'm also going to put a platoon on for B company.
Yep. Okay.
Have I got any machine guns? Because
you have 1.
So I can add that to this platoon.
You've got a choice with your medium machine guns. You can either have them in a standalone sustained fire roll, which means they have greater range and they're slightly more effective, or you can deploy them or attach them directly to a platoon, which significantly enhances the platoon's firepower, but then reduces your range and operational range. So it's so again, it's a decision for the player to make.
Quid pro quo, as we might say in infamy. Right. Okay. Good. Well, I'm down. I've done it. So I've got my 3 platoons down, and as I'm intending to attack with A company and support with B company, I've given the platoon of B company machine gun, Vickers machine gun section attached to it. So hopefully I'm going to be able to shoot in A company as they go. And I've got a lot of patrol markers there that hopefully are going to do their magical stuff. So you're next, I think.
Okay,
David.
yeah, normally the defender would deploy first, but just for explanation we've let Richard go because of our start line's very close, and we'll think we know exactly where we're going to be.
Right.
So
Fine.
I'll then roll. I have exactly the same. I have 9 dice.
Right.
And we'll go through what...
Wow.
Wow, look at all those ones.
Yeah.
I've rolled 4 ones, 2 3s, 2 4s and 1 5.
Okay, so interestingly, 4 1s presumably is going to do me a lot of damage, but at the same time, it's going to limit what you can do.
Actually, for the ones, the most you can ever roll, which is glad we rolled that, is 3.
Right.
So you just simply re-roll
any
excess of 3.
Right.
So I've got another 3
Right.
that represent. So 3 ones represent the effect of your opening bombardment on my reserves.
Right.
They are interdicted.
Right.
So for the first 3 turns, if I'm attempting to deploy onto a combat patrol, you get an interdiction roll that may prevent them from doing that.
Right.
So it will cost me more orders if I want to keep trying.
So 3 1s has benefited me.
Yes, so 3 1s represents the effect of your barrage on my reserves and how I deploy onto the table.
I'm liking this game already, Dave. It's when I roll 1s, I screw you over.
Yeah.
When you roll 1s, you screw yourself over.
Yeah. There is a term for that. But
my kind of game. Okay.
Okay, so I've now got 5 scores of 2, 3 or 4, which are combat patrols.
Right.
Which are quite useful to me as the defender.
Yeah.
So I will deploy those.
But no more than 3 on any one
No,
HQ.
for one, yeah,
what
for
happens?
one
You've only
company.
got 2 on the table. What happens if you roll 7? Do you re-roll that, or?
Yeah, they are of no use to you. That effectively means that's a poor deployment. You've lost them.
Right.
There are sometimes if you don't roll any, or you have no on-table units, there is a mechanism to swap one for the other.
Okay.
But generally, it is what it is.
Right.
So I've got 3. I'm going to have 3 for one company.
Yeah.
And I can literally, his sector is literally this half of the table, so I'm going to put them quite far forward for him.
Right.
And I'll put one back there just in case anything happens. And then I'll have 2
Yeah.
over in 2 company.
Right. Remember, social distance, mate.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So I'll clearly, I think we know what's going to be happening. So I'll put 1 each in the 2 built-up areas.
Okay.
And then finally, scores of 5s and 6 represent ambush units for the defender. Those are on-table units that the player doesn't need to actually deploy onto the table. He simply makes a note of where they are in a terrain feature. And when he wishes to spring the ambush, they can appear anywhere in that terrain feature.
Right, so you've got
I only have 1. All I have to do is note what that unit is. It can be one section or it can be a platoon.
So it could be an anti-tank gun or... Yeah. Okay.
Oddly enough, so what I'll do now is I'll make a note, a mental note for this game of where my 1 ambush unit is.
Right.
Oddly enough, that's going to be... I'll have that as a pack 40 because I've got a pack 40. So
well, that's nice for you. Nice of you to tell me, David. You wouldn't normally tell me, I presume.
Normally, no, I wouldn't want to give you that benefit.
Fine. Okay, well, good. So that's it. We're kind of set up.
Yeah, that's it. So now we go straight into
now the
turn
action
1.
starts.
Okay.
So do I roll my 9 dice?
Both players roll their 9 dice simultaneously.
Because you've got a HQ value of 2 and I've got an HQ value of 3, so I add 3 to mine, so I've got a total of 8 because I've rolled a 5. So you've got to roll well, David.
Well, first of all, we'll roll the 9 dice to start with.
Oh, I see.
That gives you your orders.
Oh, right, I'm running ahead of myself. So I've rolled my 9 dice.
Right. So this does pretty much the same thing.
6, 6.
Yeah.
2, 2, 2, 2, all 2s and 3s.
That's good. So this is called the Battalion O group. At the beginning of every turn, we roll the 9 dice to see how many orders we get for the battalion.
Okay.
So 6s represent HQ orders. So you've got 2 6s, so your HQ orders go up by 2.
So I bump that up to 5 on my little HQ magic dice here. So that's up to 5. Looking good for me,
Any 1s represent basically no orders. It's friction, or if you get 3 1s, one of your companies will be hesitant and will be very limited in what it can do.
I haven't got that, Dave. I haven't got that at all, mate. I've got 7 2s and 3s.
So all the rest of the scores, 2, 3s, 4s and 5s, represent company orders.
Right.
So you've now got 7 company orders. So I will just simply give you 7 markers.
7.
How many is that? 4, 5, 6. So we'll take all those and then you can...
Thank you, then I can count them out myself. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And these are going to be part of the super magic token set that we're going to be producing to go with O Group. So I've got 7 of them in my hand, and aid memoir, because when I can't count more than 5 with one hand. So what do I do? What do I do with these now, Dave?
To start with, these orders are used to give your units actions effectively. So you could, for instance, use 1 order to order one of your infantry platoons to advance forward and fire. You could use 1 order to advance a combat patrol. You could use orders, sometimes they cost more, so bringing on reserves like tanks could cost you 2 orders.
And would they be ordinary orders, or would they be headquarters orders for reserve?
The orders are both the same. Right. So you can choose to use the orders as you see fit. You could use all your company orders, keep your HQ orders in the bank. Okay. Or you could use the lot, or combine the 2.
Right. So I could use 7 and the 5 that my HQ's got.
Absolutely.
But that would be kind of crazy because it would hand the initiative to you.
Yes. Sometimes though, however, there'll come a stage in the game when you're going to need to do that. Okay, so I'll now grab the dice. Obviously when players are doing this, they just do it simultaneously.
Right, I see. Right.
Okay, so, and I have exactly the same.
Right.
So, 6s, I've rolled 1, 6. So the defender starts on 2, so he now moves up to 3 in my HQ order bank.
Okay. And that's also your initiative, so I'm out pointing you by 5 there.
Which will normally have. The attacker starts on 3
Yeah.
and the defender starts on 2, so the attacker will normally have an edge.
Right.
I rolled 2 1s,
Yeah.
which is nothing, so I gain nothing for those. Luckily for me, it wasn't 3 1s, because that would mean one of my companies was hesitant, which would be bad news at the beginning of the game.
Good news for me.
Yes. Okay, and then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, oddly enough, 6.
Right.
6 standard company orders.
So you get 6 of your little order tokens.
So there's 6.
Okay.
And what I'll do, I'll just plonk them next to my HQ so I know what I've got.
So what's now, Dave?
So now
I'm
it's the
dying to
initiative.
get started. I'm excited.
Go. You take 2 dice.
Right.
It's 2d6 plus our HQ total.
Well, I've rolled 10, so I've got 15. So I think you've got no hope at all, Dave.
I've rolled 5, yeah.
Right, great.
So the initiative is yours.
Right.
How the initiative works is 2 things.
Right.
You can either take the initiative, which means you get the first offensive combat phase, i.e. you go first, and you gain an additional company order because you've won the initiative. Or you can pass the initiative to your opponent at the cost of that additional order.
I'm not doing that. I'll take the initial order. So I pick up an extra
So you
token.
gain an extra order.
Right.
And
so I've got
you go.
8 orders that I can use in my hand, let alone the 5 at HQ.
I think, Rich, just before you crack on, I know you're dead keen, because that's the kind of guy you are, if I just very quickly go through the game turn. So,
okay, mate.
The game turn...
I can wait.
Wait for it. The game turn consists of 3 phases. It consists of the command phase, which is the phase we've just done.
Great.
So that establishes your HQ orders, your company orders, are you hesitant, and who has the initiative.
Yeah.
We then go into the combat phases.
Brilliant.
So the offensive combat phase is the person who's decided to take the initiative. The defensive combat phase is, oddly enough, the person without the initiative. So generally, the person with the defensive phase is going second.
Okay.
And very much reacting to what the opponent has, with the person with the initiative has. And then finally, at the end of the turn, there's what's called the regroup phase.
Okay.
Where the attacker gets 2 regroup actions and the defender gets 1. And these are actions that you can give to units that receive no orders in the turn.
Okay, so it's a
so
bonus.
It's a catch-up, So units that didn't get actions have a limited catch-up potential at the end of the turn. So now, you've got the offensive combat phase. It's over to you. You can issue actions to your units.
Right. Do I have to play them, put them all out first?
No, it's basically each action goes one at a time. So you will declare an action and carry that out, and I might be able to react to it if I have troops on the table to do that.
Tell me, David, what are the movement rates?
Movement. I'm glad you asked me that.
I'm glad I asked you that.
So, movement works on a very simple 2d6 mechanism. Infantry roll 2d6, and the score that you gain is simply converted into inches, and that's how far you go.
Right.
Tanks do the same, but they have an additional fixed rate. So medium tanks get +2, fast tanks get +4. Or there's the other option: you can sacrifice your fire action by deciding to go for a rapid advance. Which enables you to basically to roll more dice and pick the best 2. So it's up to you.
Okay, so pick the best 2. So I can move and fire normally.
Yes, you can move and fire. Obviously there will be negatives for moving and firing, but it can be done. Right.
Okay, so what's the ranges then?
Right, so the ranges work on 2 aspects. First of all units have a basic battle range, which represents units that are basically on ground elevation. Okay. So, for instance, an infantry platoon will have 14 inches as its ground elevation. Right. That's it. That's what it fires up to. If, however, it's elevated, so if you're in the upper stories of buildings, you're on a rise of any kind, an embankment, a hill, you'll get an increased range. You have increased range. Why? Because you can see further. And that's very important, especially for tanks and guns. On the flat, all guns have a basic, it's the same range, battle range. But once they get themselves into an elevated position, then you see the benefit of guns such as 88s and the German long 75s. They have a much longer range. Okay. So on the flat, your guys are basically 14 inches.
So it's really representing visibility rather than
the lay of the land, rather than your weapon's effective range.
And the armour, is that 14 inches as well? if it's on the flat?
Armour is 30 on the flat.
30 on the flat.
So
Right, okay.
armour and guns are 30 on the flat, as long as they can see.
And what about my Vickers attached to that platoon? That's reduced to 14?
Yes, because your Vickers is now attacked with the infantry, its range is reduced to reflect that.
Enough of this jibber jabber, David. I think we
Crack
get on
on.
with it. So I'm going to crack on. So I'm going to give an order to them, and I'm going to move 2d6. So they rolled 7. So they're going to go up to there.
Okay.
And what can they do about that patrol thingy of yours?
Well, as you've moved up, there's two things I could do. If I had an ambush unit on the table, and I could see your unit, I might be able to opportunity fire at it.
Right.
However, I'm not going to do that.
No.
So I'm going to just let you take your action,
Right.
and now you want to fire.
Yeah.
You've normally a platoon will get 6 firepower dice, which is basically just 6d6.
Right.
But for each, as you would expect, battlefield condition, you'll lose dice, or maybe you gain dice.
Right.
So if you move, you lose 2 dice.
Right.
And if you're firing at a combat patrol, you lose 2 dice. And if you're firing at a combat patrol in a building, you'll lose another 2. So basically you lose all of them, but the minimum is always 1.
So I can fire at your combat patrols?
You can, yeah.
So, okay.
But as you'll see, they are hard to hit.
So I've rolled a 6.
Right. So the way firing works on the dice is it's basically every dice you will hit if you score 4 or more.
Right.
That's it. So
Good.
if you're rolling 6 dice,
Yeah.
you get 4 scores of 4 or more. You'll get 6 hits, etc. So you've had 1 hit on my combat patrol. All combat patrols test as regulars.
Right.
I think in this game we're both regular. Things are different troop gradings: veteran, confident, regular, second line, and green. But we're all regulars here. So all I do, each hit on a unit generates a morale test, and you test against your troop grade. The troop grade for regulars is 4.
Right.
So if I score 4 or more, I avoid taking any negative effects. Right. So I roll my dice, and I've scored a 6, so I'm okay.
So no negative effect.
negatives.
What negative effect could there be?
It works as two things. With a combat patrol,
Yeah.
combat patrols can't take shock, which
No.
is one of the things we record and morale with. So a combat patrol would literally disappear.
Okay.
It simply leaves the table and goes back into your reserves. It isn't destroyed, it's just put back into your reserves. If you had been firing at an infantry unit or any other unit, they take shock.
Right.
So a unit can take 1, 2 or 3 shock,
Okay.
and each level of shock represents a worsening of its battlefield state or morale.
Can a patrol marker take shock?
No, it's
It
as
just
soon as you
goes.
get 1 hit, as soon as you basically get a hit on a patrol marker, it's gone.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do then. With my second order, I'm going to activate this group over here, and they're going to go 2 dice. They only go 5, but frankly, I don't care because I'm going to roll a 6 to shoot you. So there you go. They move up to this hedge. Do you take movement off for terrain?
For infantry,
Yeah.
most terrain won't cause any deductions for
Right.
them because they go a fairly limited move
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
They're moving tactically.
Right.
Vehicles, however, if they're going into rough terrain,
Yeah.
then they are significantly impacted.
Right. Okay. So I've moved with 2d6. So I presume I roll 1d6 again.
You could now, as an opportunity again for me to, if I had an ambush unit, I could shoot.
But you haven't. You've got Pack 40. You
No,
foolishly
I
told me that. What a fool. Right,
no.
so I'm going to shoot 2, so I miss.
Miss.
Absolutely bloody
Excellent.
useless. Right,
Now
so
we-
with my third one...
That's it. Now I could actually react to that. I could move. Because one of the things you can do is a reaction. You can either fire on you, I can fire back if you're in line of sight,
Oh,
or
really?
I can withdraw.
Yeah.
So I can order my units to withdraw.
Is that only patrol?
No, any unit.
Any
you can
unit, right.
order any unit to withdraw. So as long as it can see...
But it will take the effect of the fire first.
It depends on the situation, but generally, yes, you will withdraw after the opponent has carried out his action.
Okay, right.
Okay, so go for your next one.
So are you going to withdraw?
No.
Right, good. Well, thank you for spoiling my game. Right, okay, so I'm going to activate my third unit on the table, and they go 10.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they wanted to go 10, but can I limit that? Can I say, I only want to
No,
go...
that's the question. No, because the way you should generally do it for movement is to declare your tactical bound. You say where you're trying to go to.
Well, it was going to be the hedge, but I've overshot it. But
Well,
you're going to let me off because you're a nice bloke, and I hadn't realised
if your
it was
tactical
part of it.
bound was the hedge, then that's where you go. That's the maximum you go.
Okay.
And if you don't reach your tactical bound, you go as far
Go
as
as far
possible
as
towards
possible towards it. Okay, so I've learnt a lesson there.
Yeah.
Right, but they're going to shoot.
Switch on, Clark.
They're going to shoot. And they rolled a 1, so
Yeah, so they've
absolutely
missed as
useless.
well. Good,
Now,
good, good.
I've used 3 of my tokens, which means I've still got 5 left, because I got 7 but got the extra one because I took the initiative.
Yeah.
What else can I activate? Is it...
You can activate your combat patrols.
Yeah.
They take a single order. You can push your combat patrols out.
How fast do they move,
At
David?
2d6.
They
They move 2d6.
Right,
Remember, they're sneaky beaky combat patrols. They're not roaring around all
Well,
over
only
the place.
use 1 there.
Yeah.
And that... But they don't go 3d6 and choose the best. They
No,
just go
not
to...
no.
Right. So
Sneaky beaky boys.
what I'm doing here is pushing these out to the flank.
Yep.
And activate this one as well.
Yep.
So they go 2d6 and
Ooh,
they go
that's a good
12.
one.
Ooh,
That's not bad.
that's a large one, sir. So they'll go over there, which again is what I want, because they're protecting the flank of this attack, which is actually what I would be doing. I would be pushing patrols.
Because obviously you can deploy onto combat patrols as long as the combat patrol wasn't.
Okay, so I can
turn,
use
you
them
do
as
it.
a jump-off point for my troops to
Yeah,
deploy
you can't.
onto.
What you can't do is you can't deploy a combat patrol and then immediately deploy
No,
onto
no.
it. But if they were deployed at the start or in the previous turns, yes, you can deploy troops on.
Missed a trick there, haven't I? So I really could have held my troops back and just simply
You
pushed
could have
forward
done.
my...
A good commander would have done that.
Well, a good umpire would have told me, but we won't go down that route. So we're going to activate the next one. 7.
Yeah.
So he's going to push forward. And of course, by doing this, this is creating issues for you, because I hadn't realised I could deploy from them. Because you must be thinking, can I afford to completely ignore that?
One thing you need to do as a combat patrol can't go within 8 inches of any enemy units, including combat patrols. So I don't know whether you've crept within 8 inches.
I have.
I'll just push it back. There you go.
Spoilt my game again.
Good,
Anyway.
good.
Okay, so that one over there.
So what Richard now needs to be thinking about is that his order total carries over it into my turn. So when I have my phase, the German phase, I'll be using my orders to move and fire and bring on troops. So Richard has to think about how many orders he keeps in reserve for my phase. So he initially had 8. How many have you wasted now on your advance?
Can I withdraw some of the ones that I've just splashed all over the table? I'm not going to activate that one now.
One in reserve.
I still want to activate that one, but that's going to allow me to keep 2 in reserve.
Yeah. Okay. So
That was a bit rubbish because I only moved 5, but nevertheless, they're getting there. That's right. So that then is my.
That's your phase is done, and you've kept 2.
My phase is done.
Yeah.
I like the way you stole that term. And I've kept 2 to react.
Yes.
Okay,
correct.
right.
So
well, it's
now,
nice to know I'm learning the rules as I go on rather than being told them at the first place. But carry on, David.
That's right. That's the way these Germans do it.
Yes,
so
that's shabby, nasty
the
trick.
phases now, we just remove all the orders that we've issued this phase, and they just go into the discard pile.
Right.
And then I decide what to do.
Right.
So,
Okay.
clearly, the Germans. Okay, there's a serious ally push against Le Bijou, so I will deploy. So the first thing I'm going to do is...
so you've got 6 tokens, have you?
I have to. I'm going to use 1 order.
Yeah.
And I'm going to deploy one of 2 companies' units onto the church.
Right. That should be it. Right.
Okay. So that comes off.
Yeah.
And I'll place in here a platoon. And I've also got an attached MMG with this platoon in the church. Yeah, so hopefully that'll give that church a pretty powerful fire base.
Nasty.
And I'll deploy on, and I will elect to fire.
Yeah.
Now this is an important moment in which to mention your ability to opportunity fire. Your reaction fire can be one of 2 things. You can either attempt to opportunity fire during the opponent's movement, or you can wait and fire at the end. So, if you opportunity fire, you need to roll a dice and basically score 4+ for infantry and tanks to be able to do that whilst the opponent is still moving.
So, are you moving or are
Yes,
you...
so deploying from a combat patrol represents that German platoon moving up and taking up that position.
So they're not ambushing effectively.
No, it's not an ambush, it's moved up.
So I can react to that.
You could, but it's a 4+. If you fail to get 4+, you can still fire at the end, but you're at a worse effect because basically you've blown the opportunity.
And does it matter if I've moved?
No, in your phase, once you come to the end of a phase and the start of another phase, everything resets. So you go from there. So you could either choose to do that, or you could go, no, I'll wait.
No, move up.
Okay, so I'll deploy.
COVID kid.
So we'll move over,
And
I'm
going to attempt to interrupt because WWII is my main objective. I don't give a monkey's over here.
So you simply put the order into the platoon that's going to fire.
Yeah.
Remember, you had 2 left.
Push that there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you need a 4+ to opportunity fires
On
on
the
moving.
D6. Yeah, got a 4.
You've got it. Right. So you will fire before me.
Yeah, good.
So therefore, if the British platoon down there is fresh, has no shock.
Yeah.
It gets 6 dice.
Magic.
However, it's firing at troops in a building, built up area, you lose 2.
Yeah.
And this is a good opportunity to mention the spotting dice.
Right.
So,
yeah.
it's the spotting dice is used in O Group as a simple spotting mechanism to represent 2 things. A, has the fire from a platoon or a unit been effective, or has the fire generally not seen the target and they're just putting fire down into the general area?
So from memory, this only happens when I'm firing at somebody in cover, doesn't
Correct,
it? If you were in the open, I'd just get good effect.
Yes, in the open it's always. So basically it's either you're either spotted or and it's a good effect, or obscured.
So I can add a dice of a different colour.
Right, so the spotting dice is always a different colour or type to your firepower dice.
So I've got 4 firepower dice and a yellow spotting dice.
And the spotting dice is always spotted on 4+ or obscured on 1 to 3.
So I've got 1 which is rubbish, so that means that I haven't got good effect, have you? So I've got 2, 3, 4, 6. What does that mean, Dave?
So as we know on hits with our dice, every 4+ is a hit.
Right.
So you've got 2 hits. Now the fact that you're obscured means that I save on a better save. So instead of saving on 4s, I save on 3s because it's obscured.
So that's nice and simple. So firepower, you roll your dice. If you get, if somebody's in terrain, you just add that spotting dice in.
That's it.
And that affects the save. Right, got you.
So it's a better save for me, so I'll save on 3s.
So 2 saves, and you rolled a 4 and a 4, so
I saved both.
So you laugh evilly.
Yes, there's no effect on the, from that fire, so I'll now fire back.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting opportunity to show how attached MMGs work.
Yeah.
So
Okay, let's see that.
I've deployed with the MMG. The MMG forms the sole fire base of the platoon.
Right.
Your attached infantry sections are supporting that MMG.
All right.
And we represent that by re-rolls.
Okay.
So the MMG gets 6 dice on its own.
Right.
So it'll get 6 firepower dice.
Yeah.
However, it did move up, did deploy this turn, so it's moved, so it'll lose 2. So it's down to 4. But each section in the platoon will give me a re-roll on you. So I will also roll the spotting dice.
Right.
So if you could pass that nice yellow dice.
No, it's not very nice. Roll 1s.
So again, I need 4 or more to spot him, or 3 or less will be obscured.
Okay. So 3 or less, it's obscured.
So I am obscured, and I've got 2 hits and 2 misses.
But you've got re-rolls, Dave.
Each section can give me 1 re-roll for 1 miss.
Right.
So I have up to 3.
Right.
I've got 2, so I can re-roll the 2 misses.
So
and
they're all
hit. 2 hits.
If you've got another miss, could you have re-rolled it?
No, you can only re-roll a miss once.
So you got 4 hits.
So 4 hits, but you are obscured.
So you can't really see. So I save on 3s.
Correct.
I've learnt it already, Dave. I've saved 3, 4, 5, 6.
So it's saved. So you've saved them all. So I put fire down, but because it was obscured, it's not particularly effective.
So yeah, but had I actually crossed that hedge and said my tactical zone is the village,
you would have been in trouble.
I would have been in trouble.
Okay, and so we'll move on there.
And is that it? That's how infantry fire works.
That is effectively how infantry fire works out. So
nearly as simple as I am. Right. Okay.
So I've got a choice here. Do I deploy into that WWII, the village of Le Bijou, to oppose these infantry? But they will be on their own, and they'll be fairly isolated. But I have no choice. So I will do the same. I'll use another one of my orders to deploy the German section onto Le Bijou. And I'll place those in there. Now you've got the same reaction.
Yeah,
you can go for opportunity fire.
I don't use it, so move on up, socially distanced person.
Okay.
So I roll 6 dice because I'm fresh and excited.
If you want an opportunity fire, you've got to pass that opportunity fire dice roll first. 4 plus
5.
Got it. Okay. So 6 dice.
Yeah.
You lose 2 for a built-up area.
Yeah.
And the spotting dice.
So I'll roll this evil yellow spotting dice. 4. So I've seen you, but I've rolled 1, 1, 2, 2.
So I will put fire down on the... I'll organise my platoon so its arc of fire takes in both yours, and I will engage the closer British platoon behind that hedge.
Okay. So could you split the fire between 2 units?
You can, but it's generally not worth doing that.
No, sure, I've got you.
So you should generally target one unit.
Yeah, okay.
So I initially get 6 dice because it's a full platoon with no issues.
But you moved.
Lose 2.
4 dice. Yeah.
And because you're behind the hedge,
spotting dice.
Spotting dice. So I'll grab that one.
Which do you find on these guys here?
Yeah, the nearer ones.
What happens if you find on them? Would they get cover for being in the wheat field?
They would still get cover. The spotting dice is always applied, even in wheat fields, orchards, etc.
But not in a ploughed field.
No, if you're in the open, you're in the open.
Right, okay, got you. So you've spotted and you've got 3 hits.
So that's 3 saves for you. Again, because you spotted, it's on 4+.
Right, okay, so only 1 save, so 2 hits. What does that mean?
So that puts shock on a unit.
Right.
So there are 3 levels of shock. You can take 1 shock, which means the unit is still okay. It just loses a firepower dice. It can still move forward. It can do whatever it wants. 2 shock, which is what your platoon has just received, means the platoon is now hesitant.
Okay.
It can still fire, but it loses a dice because it has shock. But what it can't do is move closer to the enemy.
Okay.
So they're effectively pinned down until you rally that shock off. They can withdraw, but they can't move forward.
So I could use a... Oh, you've
use
got a magic
dice or a little shock marker, whatever you want. You can
use
whatever marker you wish.
And you turn that to... So number 2 is placed on there. So you could use a normal shock dice or a couple of cabbages or anything. As long as it identifies it. Right.
And then the final one is 3 shock. 3 shock represents that your unit is suppressed. That's the worst morale state. It can't move unless it's given specific orders, and it can't fire. So suppressed units are in a bad way.
How do I recover from that?
You can recover them by simply giving them in your phase a rally order. So you can issue it a rally order, and we roll a set number of dice, and for each pass against troop rating, you'll rally off 1 shock.
Well, we'll do that when we get there. So what's happening now, Dave?
Okay, so I've got more orders. So my company commander can clearly see here quite an aggressive British attack coming in. So he needs to deploy troops. So the way to deploy troops, I can either do it on the table edge, but he's so far forward as doing that.
I'll move out your way, Dave.
Thank you very much, So, the company commander here, he will deploy 2 more combat patrols using 2 more orders.
Right, so this is cheeky beaky because I don't know which one's real, which one isn't. I don't know.
I can deploy anywhere within 18 inches of the company commander, but not within 8 inches of you.
Right, okay.
So, I can see this one here and these troops here, so I'm going to deploy 2 company. I'm going to put a combat patrol on that field edge there. And I'm also going to put a combat patrol in the woods at the back because I might need to bring on reserves.
So what effect does that have on me?
That means that this combat patrol cannot, because we're locked down, to use a phrase that you might be familiar with. You can't move that forward, and you can't deploy troops off it. But what you can do is move it back, and then it's free to do what it wants.
Right, but not in the same turn.
Correct. And that really, I'll tell you what, I've got a number of orders left, so I've got last 2 orders. What I'll do is I'll bring on my battalion mortars.
Okay.
So
nice. I forgot about mine, but you go for it.
I wasn't going to.
Well, I couldn't see anybody, could I? So right, you carry on.
Bearing in mind, so mortars are available to the battalion. They're your organic artillery, so you can always use them. Right. So you can call those in at any point in the turn. We do have off-board artillery. Yeah. You have, as we mentioned before, you've got 25-pounder missions. You've got 3.
Oh, that's nice to know.
That's it.
Right.
I, as the Germans, have got 1 off-board artillery mission. Right. So that's it. Right. So
and that's a scenario.
Yeah, that's for this scenario.
Yeah. Right.
They do come in the basic game. You can tweak it to suit. You need to have a forward observer who can observe either the unit you are attempting to attack, or a terrain feature that enemy units are occupying.
Right. Okay.
So what I'll try and do is I'll try and bring the mortars down in that platoon there.
Oh.
Now, one of the restrictions is you cannot bring artillery down within 8 inches of your own units, i.e. danger close. So, if I hand you that, could you tell me if they are within 8? If they're not, are they within 8?
Yes.
Oh, that's really annoying.
No.
Ah!
Right.
So in that case then, my foo, who is situated back here in Ekron in an elevated built-up area,
Right.
he can clearly see his basic spotting range again. He's the same as Tank's 30.
Right. But
So-
he's elevated.
So he could see all the way up to 50.
Rock
So
on.
he's got a long way to see. But
Right.
30 is his effective one. He gets no negatives on his calling in or his accuracy roll for firing them. So therefore, I pay my 2 orders and put them next to my
So it costs him two orders for doing that. Because it's
it's a fresh. If you are targeting a fresh target area or a new position, it's 2 orders. But if you're just doing a repeat mission, same place, same target,
same time, same place. Yeah,
we know that. It only costs you 1 order.
Okay, I'm learning these rules as we play. That's good, David, because I'm not very bright. So, right, okay, roll the dice.
The first thing that the artillery does is establish accuracy.
Yeah.
Which is a 2d6 roll, which is the same for anti-tank fire, and it's all the same.
Yeah.
And basically, it works one of 2 ways, as you'll see. So I've rolled 6.
6.
Now, for artillery or mortars to be zeroed in and accurate, they need a 7 or more. Okay, I've got a 6. 6 represents the fire has come in, but it's more harassing fire. It's not quite in the right area.
Okay.
We don't have deviation other than danger close, which is a double 1.
Okay.
So it simply represents I'm not quite on target.
So you don't really need deviation because it's just saying you are either are or you're not.
Yes.
And
So
because let's talk about chain of command. It's important because we're really focused on detail. Here, the important thing is the effect. Is it happening or is it not? Right. Okay,
and because our game turn is over several minutes, maybe even 10 minutes, then the foo has time to correct or vaguely onto the target, so they're there. So,
hurry up then.
A battalion mortar gets 5 dice.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Okay.
Right.
So, it gets 5 dice, but it has a radius of 4 inches. Right. So, by plonking up the centre of that platoon, I'd also hit the combat patrol on the other end.
Oh, right.
And it attacks every unit in its radius. So, my first attack on your platoon, guess what I hit on with my mortars?
Is it 4s and 5s? And
4
6s?
plus.
4 plus.
Oh, look at that. That's
4 for
hits.
sure.
So that's excellent mortar fire.
Right.
Okay, but as it's harassing, you save on 3s. It's the same as the obscure result of the spotting dice.
Right, so there's
4 3s.
consistency there.
Yeah.
Right, well I've only saved 2, so presumably I get one in my magic shot markers.
2 shot.
It goes to 2, so we know it can't move. They're pinned.
So they're pinned. And then I get 5. Also 5 dice on the combat patrol. We know how vulnerable they are.
Yeah.
So I've only got 1 hit, so it's good. You might save it. 3 plus.
Yeah.
You saved. So okay, so there's no effect.
So you were a bit rubbish there.
Yeah, it wasn't the best artillery strike we've ever had.
No.
And
thank God. Right.
So the only other thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take advantage of which I've got 1 order. I'm going to advance one of these combat patrols.
Right.
And it moves a steady 6 inches.
Right. Always 6 inches.
It's always 6 inches, sir.
Right.
Down there.
Right.
So I'm going to push that out just to threaten potentially the flank of Richard's attack.
All your orders gone.
So now I've finished. That's it. I'm done.
And you have used all your orders. There's no point in you holding any back.
No, with company orders, if you have any left over at the end, you just lose them. Don't count.
No.
So that's it. I could, of course, eat into my HQ orders.
You could, but I can't. I can't now go, ha! I've got 5 HQ orders and I'm going to use them.
You can, no, but you can use them to react to me. So even if you'd used all your orders, company orders in your phase, you could still dig into your HQ reserve to react. So if particularly dangerous situations appeared, you could use that.
Right.
So that brings the conclusion of the combat phases. You've had your offensive phase, I've had my defensive phase, and we end the turn with the regroup phase.
Right.
So anything that didn't get an order, you can either move it 2d6 or rally with it.
So at this point in time, that's not particularly relevant. But when I get more troops on the
you can deploy onto a combat
Oh,
patrol.
please!
You could do that.
Oh, please! I'm going to do that.
As the defender, I get 1, but remember, it can only. It's got to be something that didn't receive an order.
Yeah. That's fine, because I'm going to bring on a And do I have to be in contact
You
with
have
it?
to, at least one section has to touch the combat patrol.
And what happens to it?
That goes back into the reserves.
It goes into
so
the reserves.
the good old recce team have done their job. They've brought the troops up. They've joined up with the platoon, and then your marker goes back into the reserves.
Nice. And I think I'm going to bring another one on because you failed to pin that one.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bring on the third section of.
Oh, he's committed the whole company.
I'm committing the whole company because I'm just that type of guy, Dave. You know.
Tactically.
So there we go. I'm bringing them on because I'm hoping for a big roll, and that will mean that when they fire, they haven't moved.
That's correct. Yeah.
Turn.
So it's important. Yeah. So being able to deploy in the regroup phase is important.
Nice.
I get as a defender, I get one regroup action.
Right.
So I can either move at one of these. That one received an order.
You can activate your patrol
thingies
as well.
Right. As long as you didn't give it an order in your phase, if it didn't get an order, it can move.
Yeah. No, you've said that before. Just try and keep it brief, Dave.
Yeah, that's it.
I can't think of it's my go now, isn't it? Or
what we do is now it starts at turn 2. So we both roll 9 dice. And we go through what we get.
So I'll roll mine just for dramatic purposes. Then you roll yours. So I got 1-1, which is no good.
Yes, nothing. Yep.
I got a 6 and a 5.
Yep.
Are they upstairs orders?
No, just 6s.
Right, so that goes up
HQ
to
orders.
6.
Ooh. So 6 is the maximum you can hold in the HQ.
What happens if I rolled that as another 6?
So if you roll more 6s than the HQ bank can hold, if they simply get converted into company orders.
Right, so I haven't done that. So I've got 7 orders and my things up to there. So I'll count myself out 7 orders.
Yeah. Do you need a hand with that?
No, I'm okay. I do it by doing 5 and 2. Right. So now Dave's going to roll his, folks. How exciting is this?
Okay.
2 1s. 2 1s.
That was close again. Close to that 3 1s. I don't want 3 1s.
No.
1 6. So this company HQ is grinding its way slowly to the total. I'm now on 4. And therefore that leaves me with 6 company orders. Not brilliant, but I'm hungry.
Right, but now we roll for our initiative. So I'm on 6 and I've rolled 9, so I'm up to 15.
Okay.
So you've got to roll 11 to come close.
Shouldn't be difficult.
Yes.
11.
No. So I add myself. I know this.
Do you want to take it?
Yeah, of course I do. I add myself an additional order, so I get 8.
Yeah.
Because at this point in time, you're right. If I'd taken the position and consolidated and was doing things, I might want to let you go first. But there's no way I want to do that because I want to kill you.
Crack on.
So these guys here are pinned, which is going to mess up my firing.
So if you're holding shot, it doesn't matter whether it's 1 or 2, you always lose 1 dice from your firepower.
Right, okay.
So they could still fire, or you've got a choice. You could issue them a limited rally order.
Yeah.
You could attempt to rally with 1 dice.
Yeah.
If you score your troop rating or better, you'll remove 1 shock.
Yeah.
And then you'll have 1 action, which could either be move or fire.
Well, I'll try that because I want to, and this still only costs me 1 order.
1 order. Or the other rally option is nothing. Rally off. Use 3 dice to rally off as many shock as the dice
I don't fire.
and then you get nothing.
It's important to fire. So I'm going to roll that. I've rolled a 4.
So you remove 1 shock.
So that's good news because they could move if they wanted. But more to the point, I'm going to get to a point if I have a lot of shock where you're going to start killing me. I think.
I will. Yes. So once a unit is suppressed on 3 shock, if infantry receive in excess of 3. Then we get into the realm of potentially losing sections or definitely losing sections.
Okay, well I'm going to fire now because I've got my Vickers there and I want to...
Right, okay, so the way this is going to work is you'll get 6 for the Vickers because it's an attached Vickers. But you're carrying a shock, so you lose 1.
Oh,
you used 1 dice to rally, so you lose another dice.
Oh, you never told me that. Right.
And you're still firing at BUA, you lose 2 more. But maybe you do get the re-rolls. So, and the spotting dice here. Take this yellow dice.
Take this yellow dice. So I've spotted you. So I've got 1 6. I get a re-roll, so I'm going to re-roll again.
Yeah, so it's 1 hit on scene.
So I can't re-roll again.
No, that's it. You only get the 1.
If I'd known that, I think I would have just sat there and fired. But there we go. If that's the only way you can win is by not telling me the rules.
This is how you learn the rules, So, and I've rolled a 5, so I passed. My troop rating is 4, so they've passed.
Okay, this group here who have not moved. They moved in the. They deployed in the
That was last phase, that last turn, that doesn't matter.
So they get 6 dice, they take 2 off for firing a built-up area.
Yeah, do you want, I take it you're not moving now?
No, I don't want to move because I want to just put the firepower
Put fire
in
down,
there.
okay.
So I don't see you, but I do get 3 hits.
Okay.
I don't get any re-rolls because this is just an infantry thing.
Yeah. So I will save on 3s,
Right.
because I'm obscured.
Do your Nazi worst, mate.
Oh, that's
2 hits.
2 ones.
Not terrible.
Give me that.
Not terrible. Brilliant.
So I'll move around this side and we'll put some 2 shock.
Now, while Dave is boring us with his tedious machinations, I'm going to fire. I'm going to issue an order to the next platoon, and they've got 2 shot, but they're not going to rally it off because they've seen his evil trick.
However,
Yeah.
this is a point I think it might be pertinent to
Introduce
to
a new
mention.
rule.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Company commanders.
Yeah.
Your company commanders have 3 actions available to them that they can do. Not only are they placing their companies in command by being on the table and deploying new combat patrols, they have 3 options each turn that you can use with them.
Right.
You can, one company commander can attempt to increase HQ orders.
Right.
So he could use his action to try and gain another HQ order. He simply rolls a dice, you get a 4, you get another one.
Do I have to give him an order to get that?
No, that's his action. He's a special action that he can use because he's a company commander.
He's a magic man.
He's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Or he can prevent a platoon route test. When a platoon goes down to its last section, it needs to take a route test, see if it stays on the board. He can prevent it.
Okay.
And finally, probably the most important one for him is he can issue a second action to the same unit in the same phase. So, as long as he was within 18 of that platoon that you were looking at earlier on, you could do the following. You could issue a rally order to them, remove both shock.
And then
the company commander, which it could cost you a lot of orders, but they then get a second action, which you could do, for instance, put down fire and then try and assault.
What's this going to cost me?
It's a variable depending on a dice roll. So the commander could, it could cost you 3 orders, could cost you 2, could cost you no extra. So it depends. You still pay the basic order cost.
Right, let's give it a go then. So I paid my basic order cost, but I want him to rally
so first, use that order and the platoon to rally off its shock. So roll 3 dice, 4 plus, you rally off each shock.
4 and 5, so that's all gone. It's all gone. All that shotgun.
So now, you use your company commander action.
Right.
And just put that on your company commander to denote the fact that he's used it.
That's a magic token that says company commander action or something like that. Right.
So you only get 1 per turn, so you've got to think about when you use it. Once you've used it, it's gone.
I've used it.
So they now then, you can now issue a second order to them. What would you like to issue to them?
Well, I could
fire and go.
I could fire and assault.
You could.
I'll do that, David.
Right. So
I'll do that.
First of all, it costs you 1 order for the basic order to go in, and then we roll a d6 to see what the extra order cost is.
3.
A 3 is 3 orders.
3 more.
3 more. Sorry, no, it's 2 more. 2 more. 3 in total. Yeah, it cost you a lot.
Wow, that did cost me a lot.
Yeah, but
what would happen if I rolled a 6?
It wouldn't have cost you any. It would just cost you the 1 for the basic order.
All right.
So, fire and go.
Yeah, why not?
Because if you suppress me, you have an advantage.
So I've got 4 dice, I reckon, because I get 6, but you're in cover, so I roll 2.
But you're also going to move, so you're down to 2.
Right.
But are you within? No, you're not within 6 inches. So just add the spotting dice.
I am within 6 inches.
Okay, get an extra dice for close range.
Right.
And the spot.
Okay.
Obviously, so we're on the spot.
Right. No, I don't spot you, but I do hit a 4 and a 6. So I need you to roll badly. And
you want one shot. One more shot will suppress me, and then I get no opportunity there. And I've rolled a 2, so they are now suppressed.
Right.
Which means they cannot fire when you come in. So now you're going to do your movement. So it's 2d6.
Yeah. And 8, so they'll easily assault.
As long as you get, once you're within an inch, or you can touch the BUA while you're in combat.
Right.
I have one choice here.
Yeah.
Because they are suppressed, I can attempt to withdraw and get them out.
Or can you stand and fight?
I could, but I fight at a disadvantage.
Right, good.
So
you should.
I'm going to use one of my orders.
Yeah.
I'm going to attempt to get them to withdraw. Because they're suppressed, I need to get a 4+ to get them out.
Right.
If I fail, the order doesn't go through. Right, I've got out. So the order's gone in, and they're going to leg it.
Right.
And they leg it 5 inches.
Right.
So they get away, but that means obviously you take the built-up area. So I'll come out the back that way.
It cost me a lot of orders, but I'm not.
But you've done it.
I'm not sorry about that actually.
No. I didn't go that far.
No.
Okay.
So in I go,
So you're in.
and what we're doing here is we're just using a built-up area. Is a built-up area. You're not looking at individual buildings. That's the right.
That's
part.
it.
That's
don't,
good.
Don't worry
actually.
about windows. Don't worry about doorways.
Right,
You can fire out of any one side. It's a group of buildings.
Outhouses.
It will be some of those.
Yes. Right. Okay. So I've only got 2 orders left because I wasted them all on your ridiculous ideas. But I did get in.
Yeah.
I did get in. And I think what I need to do though is I need to. I'm not going to save any orders. I'm going to use.
That's a command decision that we need to analyse later.
Oh dear me. Well, you're on that church, you see. I really want to get maximum firepower in that church and
Remember,
do
you've
some damage.
got artillery mortars you could potentially
Yeah,
get
I
in.
know, but that will be all of my
Oh, yeah.
stuff done. I've got 2 sections there. I'm not very comfortable about this, but I'm going to use all my orders, so I get 4 dice for each.
Right, you're putting down fire.
Yeah, just fire.
Okay, so we'll do the first one first.
Yeah.
So you'll get 4 dice. You don't have
Yeah,
any
because that's
shots,
6 dice and 2 because
off
you're
of the
built
buildings.
up. And can I see you? No, but I've got 1 hit on a 5.
hit, so we'll see what the result
Pathetic.
is. 3 plus, they
Nothing.
say.
And again, the same for the other one. And I do see you, and I've got a 5 and a 6, so that's
2 hits.
2 hits. Nice and easy firing resolution.
And so it's one
save.
shock. So they get
Right.
1 shock. I can choose to fire back
Yeah.
at either one of those.
But now I can use my, if I want, I can use my HQ orders
You can dig in.
to do funky stuff.
Yeah, but before you do that, do I fire back with that and waste my order returning fire? They didn't take a lot of casualties. No, I'm going to save my orders. I think I need them. So I'm not going to do any return fire down there. I'm just going to sit and wait.
So I am going to risk it.
Oh, he's risking
I
it.
am going to use one of my HQ orders
Yep.
because I really want to see those fingers. I really want to make things happen here.
Okay.
In terms of this patrol marker, because I cleared this area, so they're going to go 2d6. We'll roll that again, big.
Yeah. Ooh,
11. They can't go within 8 of you, but they can move up to the 8.
Yeah,
I take
come
it.
back, hey,
So
come
the
back.
important thing for me here is I'm moving that to create a deployment point here, and then I could bring on my 3rd platoon from that company, which would be a great thing to do, and I can do it in the final phase, that consolidation phase. So potentially what I'm doing there is I've created the space and I'm moving up, and now I take off all my order tokens.
So that's the end of the phase. So all the orders that you've used just get discarded, go off into the discard pile.
But I'm a bit disappointed to be having to use those command orders so early in the game, but I do feel it was worth doing that. Yeah. And do I take off this company order?
That stays on because it could potentially just reflects the fact he's used it for the turn.
Yeah, okay. All right, good. Right.
So my phase again. So what have we got here? I'm down to 5 orders.
Yeah.
So I think first things first. I need to rally that unit that fell back.
Yeah. Oh right. You have to do that, do you?
Well, I don't have to, but if I don't, I'm in trouble.
Oh, I see. You're trying to rally the shock off. I've got you.
So it's a straightforward rally order. Gives me 3 dice, 3 attempts at 4 plus, each success will rally off 1 shot.
Fine. Roll badly, Dave. Right, just 1. Pathetic. So, let me lean over and do that for you.
Thank you.
To save getting all your COVID-y germs over my table.
So they're no longer suppressed, but they're still pinned in that wood.
Nice.
Nice. Yes, nice.
Yeah.
So I've got a bit of an issue here with you pushing forward. So what I'm going to do with the next order is I'm going to order this combat patrol.
Yeah.
Now it's within 8 inches of you, so it can't deploy troops. No. It's too dangerous. So I'm going to pull it back.
Right.
Draw it.
And you have to go the distance moved. Yeah. So you've got 9 inches, so they're going all the way back.
Back to there.
I think it could be a bit further than that, actually, David.
That'll do.
Yeah. But
he's desperate. He's desperate.
I know.
So, and now, I've got 3 orders left. I know what I'm going to do with one of them.
Surrender?
Never. I'm going to bring a repeat order to my mortars.
Oh, my God.
Same target that's in the open.
That's going to stonk 2 of my groups. So roll your 2 dice to see whether it's any good or not.
Accuracy. Now, the benefit of firing at the same target in the same place.
Yeah, one order.
It's
Taken.
one order and a +1 on accuracy.
It would be, wouldn't it? Right.
So here we go. 7.
7.
So up to 8, so I'm on target, zeroed in.
Nice.
So zeroed in.
You. Yeah.
I still get 5 dice,
Yeah.
but now obviously your saves are on the higher 4s. So on the target platoon, fire at those with 5 dice, and I get 3 hits. So 3 saves for you.
So I roll 3 saves on that. Those guys there, and I've only that's cocked.
Yeah, very cocked.
So 2 saves,
so
so one up, so
back to
that's
pinned.
back to pinned, yeah.
I didn't like it. And because the adjacent platoon are within the radius,
got you.
they get hit as well.
No.
Now that's...
Yeah, roll that again. That's remarkable
interesting
dice.
dice.
So 3
hits on them.
And we'll roll and see what we get there. We've only got 1 save there, so they
2
automatically
shots on
zoom up to being pinned.
So they're both been stopped with the mortars, both pinned.
Nice.
So
Right. Good
good
effect. And is that the end of your go?
Almost. I've got 2 orders left. I'm going to put 1 into the MMG in the church.
Yeah, I thought you would.
I'll do the same as you. I'll do the limited rally order. So I'm going to use 1 dice to try and rally off the that 1 shot he's got.
Yeah.
4+ will succeed.
Yeah,
And I have
nice. So that
succeeded.
rallies
So
there.
that's gone.
Yeah.
So therefore, now I can fire. Use the 1 action I have. I could move or fire. I'm going to fire. And so I get 6 dice.
Yep.
I've used a dice to rally off the shot, so I'm down to 5. And I'll target the nearest platoon behind the hedge.
Nasty.
Oh, and I do need the spotting
You
dice.
you do.
And it's
you
spotted,
do,
which
right.
is good. Look at that.
4
4
hits.
hits, and I get a re-roll because it's the supporting sections. Look at that, 5 hits from the MG42.
So when you put that down, you think, oh, it's just a machine gun firing. You think, well, but having those re-rolls
is crucial.
Is crucial. Right. So it's 3 hits. So that automatically
straight
goes
to suppress.
Straight to suppress. So that's on this squad here.
That's it. That platoon. Yeah, that's it.
Platoon.
Frankly, I'm not surprised that they've been suppressed by that.
No, I'm not.
Okay, and I've got 1 order left.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep pushing that one forward. So I'm going
to probing.
Yes. Bit of probing, sir. Re-roll that thing. So it's 8 inches.
8
Oh,
inches.
that's my span. So I'll put that. That is done. I don't intend to use any of my HQ orders.
Yeah.
I want to contest the initiative. I want to try and win the next phase.
Consolidate. Good times. Come on.
Regroup phase. You get
that's
2
what it
regroups.
is.
So anything that didn't get an order,
right.
You can move or rally.
Right. Well,
Yeah, well, here he goes. He's deploying. No, I don't need this.
the rest of A Company are going to come on in the magic little shrubbery there, and we take that off as a result. But that's a good result for me. Okay, well that's good. So I can activate something that hasn't yet been activated. Now, can I use that to manoeuvre my
company commander
if I want?
Yes.
Well, I'm not going to do that actually, because what I'm going to do is activate that. Oh no, I activated then. Useless gits. And I can't rally.
Yes, you can, but as long as it didn't get an order in your phase. So if it didn't get an order during the whole turn,
it did.
Yeah, so
it did.
Anything that didn't.
It's that company commander over there then.
Yeah. Do you want to move him up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 dice.
Yeah. So he's obviously more concerned about his tea.
Right.
That.
No.
So here we go. So I've got 1 regroup action.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about. I've deployed it already. So no, I'm going to leave it be. So that's it. So I'm not doing anything.
Okay.
So
right. Good.
That's
now,
it. End of the turn. New turn.
Okay, so there we are. That's the first 2 turns played through, and I think that's given you a bit of grounding about how movement works and how firing works. What we're going to do is we're going to take a break there, and then we're going to come back with the next episode where we see me win. So thanks for watching. We'll be back very soon with more O Group fun on LARD TV. Any questions, don't forget to put them below. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. You can do that quite happily, Linda, because this is Riser Express, not Too Fat Larders, so it'll be good. You're giving it to Dave, not to me. Big thumbs up, Linda. And we'll look forward to seeing you soon.
See you later.